Hello guys, welcome back to Cricket with Devi. Today we are back with another episode of this IPL 2022 previews or SWOT analysis rather of different teams. Today we are going to talk about Delhi Capitals and I'm joined with a super fan of Delhi Capitals in Gurkirat Singh Gill, Gurkirat Bhaiya, Gurkirat sir. Sir, first of all, talking about Delhi. They have made quite a few good buys in the auction, and some perhaps aren't available. So that's also a problem for us. Some players aren't available, some are there, but aren't as effective and all. So, first of all, we'll take your insights on all of that. And before that, how are you, Gurkirat sir, first of all?
I am more than happy if you just address me as Bhaiya rather than sir. I don't think I am that old yet. And the second thing is that I want to congratulate you for being able to do this at an age of 12 years old. I remember when I was 12 years old, the only thing I was interested about was scoring was actually scoring runs in gully cricket or whatever form of cricket that I was playing, and just hoping that India win with someone like a Tendulkar getting over, his phase where he was not scoring hundreds. Between 2006 and 2008, he really struggled for hundreds, and he was getting quite a few times out in the 90s. So I remember when I was 12 years old, it was when I just turned 12 when it was the Sydney Test of 2008, where Sachin had finally broken that streak of not scoring hundreds. Unfortunately, India lost that Test match to bad umpiring, and I remember crying after that result. So, and I was still understanding the game. So, for someone like you to have done this at the age of 12 is quite commendable. And yeah, I hope that you get all the success and you keep growing.
Thank you so much, Gurkirat Bhaiya. And also, uh, yeah, thanks a lot. Also, going ahead, Delhi, first of all, have had quite a few good seasons in the last 2 years of the IPL, last 3 years, in fact. They have qualified for the playoffs 3 years in a row, which was a rare thing for them a few years back. They just started to build a new team, a good team, and they had quite a good core. And especially the fact that the mega auction just came, I think that would impact them quite a lot, specifically for things like them having such a good Indian core that they were like, they could just play Rabada and Nokia and just settle for Indian players otherwise. So the fact that that happened would be quite a loss to Delhi, I feel. And what are your opinions on that? Along with that, Delhi this year have quite a lot of problems associated with the fact that Andrik Nokia might not play the whole season. He might miss half of the IPL. He might miss start of the IPL, or he might miss the whole IPL. In fact, there are some reports telling that he might miss half of it, or he might miss the whole IPL. So how big a concern do you think that is for Delhi? Specifically, the fact seeing that they don't have any other good quality Indian pacer with him to complement him, along with no great overseas pacer either.
See, you mentioned it correctly. I think that they did a good job in retentions. I felt that they could have probably looked to retain Avesh instead of Akshar because getting an Indian pacer who can bowl 140 plus is difficult in the auction, as we saw. And Avesh was bowling 145 plus in the last season. He was even
Plus,
touching
at that
150.
time, he was uncapped too.
Yes, exactly. I was just coming to that. So he was uncapped as well. So it might have helped them, save roughly 2 crores if Avesh had agreed for the 4 crore salary cap. Even if he had asked for more, I think Delhi could have given him that extra money because getting an Indian spinner is far more easier than getting an Indian pacer. So I thought they made a mistake, slight mistake over there, but it's also understandable why they went for that choice. I thought they started well in the auctions, getting Warner and Mitchell Marsh for a combined price of 13 CR was good enough. Uh, I felt that they overpaid for Shardul, but I can understand why they did that because they struggled for batting depth in the
Hmm.
last 2, 3 seasons. So Shardul provided them with that option of batting depth with him coming to batted number 7 or number 8, depending upon how you look at the team framing. But I thought where they really messed up things was getting both Khalil and Sakaria for roughly 10 CR. They could have gone for just one of them. Now, with regards to the availability of overseas players, it's something that you can't plan along. You can't plan along for injuries. So if Nokia is not available, then he's not available. You have to do something and work around it. But I think the bigger problem is that they only bought 7 overseas players when you could have had 8, when the budget allows you for that. I thought they could have got someone like Blessing Muzarbani as a backup for Nokia or as another overseas pacer, because the team combination is going to be such that they'll only be able to play one overseas pacer as opposed to two, which they were doing in the last 3 seasons. Because Warner's definitely going to play when he's available. So would Mitchell Marsh, and so would Rahul Powell. Because what Delhi struggled with in the last 2 seasons was firepower at number 6, 7, 8. So the way I see it, that if all players are available, Shaw and Warner would open. Then there would be Mitchell Marsh and Rishabh Pant in the middle order, and there would be one of KS Bharat, Sarfaraz Khan, or Mandeep Singh. I hope it is Sarfaraz Khan. So your 3, 4, 5 is Sarfaraz, Pant, and
Do you
Mitchell Marsh,
see
and
Yash Dhul getting a chance in that matter?
not straight away, not straight away. And I am always against the idea of blooding in an under 19 player straight away, because you really don't see them getting success in their first season itself. There are exceptions like Ravi Bishnoi, but for batters it is difficult because it's you don't see at the under 19 level. You also face players who are in the same phase of development, or rather you might say under development, because they are also under 19 cricketers. They are also yet to develop, and we have seen cases where under 19 cricketers have not been able to grab the opportunity that comes with their way in the IPL. Even Virat Kohli struggled in his very first season. So did uh, I'm forgetting his name. So did Unmuk Chand. If you remember, Prithvi Shaw also struggled for 2 seasons. It was the last season where he scored a lot of runs. So it's a struggle. So I'm never in favor of blooding in under 19 players straight away. I'd rather have Delhi play Sarfaraz, and then your 3, 4, 5 between Sarfaraz, Mitchell Marsh, and Pant can be dynamic. You can float
Hmm.
them around depending upon the situation. If you think that the team has lost a wicket just around the sixth over, you might as well send Sarfaraz to tackle spin and hold Mitchell Marsh back for the end overs. And if you think that a wicket has fallen if a wicket has fallen early in the power play, then you can send in Mitchell Marsh to take on pace bowling. So it can be dynamic. And then number 6 will obviously be Rahman Powell. Now, two bowlers, if everyone's available, are fixed, which is
Hmm.
Akshar and Nokia. Now it comes down to the 3 other spots. Obviously, one of those spots will be Shardul Thakur's, because you have bought him for a
Yeah.
role of an all-rounder, or of a bowling all-rounder, whose backup is going to be Kamlesh Nagarkoti. And then you will obviously play one of Khalil or Sakaria. I'd prefer playing Khalil because he has the extra pace which Sakaria doesn't. And then you are left with another spinner spot in the 11.
Which
Now, do
I
you go
guess
for
Kuldeep maybe.
you have three options for that. You have Kuldeep Yadav, you have Praveen Dubey, and you have Lalit Yadav. Now, if I were there, I would actually play Lalit Yadav, because I don't see Kuldeep making that much of a difference straight away, because the Delhi bowling is Delhi is Delhi is lacking the same firepower which they had in their bowling department in the
Hmm.
last 3 seasons. So I might as well have Lalit Yadav at number 7, uh, Shardul Thakur at 8, and Akshar Patel at 9, and increase my batting depth, and then hope that guys like Lalit Yadav, Rahman Powell, Mitchell Marsh, Shardul Thakur, and these guys can make up for the overs which are outside of Akshar, Nokia, and Khalid, or maybe Sakaria. So I'd go with the CSK kind of a template, wherein you pack your batting with we pack your 11 with a lot of batting depth, and then hope that the captain has enough options to play around with, and are able to keep the opposition down to a score which is chaseable. I don't see Delhi defending a lot of scores this time because of the bowling resources. But yes, it's going to be difficult for Delhi. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree because it definitely would be a righty start for them. Looking at the fact that, as I see, Warner, Mitchell Marsh, Andrik Nokia, even Mustafizur and Lungi and Gidi are in doubt for the first few initial games. So like they're just left with two overseas players then.
Yeah, which is Ravan Powell and who's the other keeper? I forgot the opening batter.
It was
It's
Warner. No, Tim
no, no,
Seifert. Tim Seifert.
Tim Seifert. I keep getting confused between Tim Seifert and Glenn Phillips for some reason.
Same.
So I also think that Lungi and Gidi wasn't a good buy because last season he was dropped and he was played ahead of Hazelwood, Sam Curran. He was dropped for Hazelwood, Sam Curran, and Dwayne Bravo. So if MS Dhoni drops you, it sort of shows how much confidence he has in your abilities. So yeah, I think Delhi messed up their overseas picks. One, they didn't complete the quota. Two, they got someone like Lungi and Gidi, who I don't think is a great buy.
Yep. And looking at that, I guess there might be more chances for untapped players. Like, so when Warner is in there, you directly have an opening spot available. And even when Marsh is in there, you have a spot open for number three then. So two of the batting spots are already open when Warner and Mitchell Marsh aren't there. So in your opinion, whom are they gonna be? Because as we said, Sarfaraz is the front runner to play at five. Also with the form he is coming in from the Ranji Trophy, and even the fact that he is like better suited to that position than the other contenders for that. So whom do you think are the other two? Like, so with Shaw, who is going to open and at three?
See, in that scenario, I'd rather
Hmm.
open with Mandeep Singh and Prithvi Shaw, and I'll bring in KS Bharat. And if KS Bharat is playing, then then I'll have to play KS Bharat at three with Sarfaraz at five. Even though I ideally think that Sarfaraz should not be batting at five, but should be batting at three because uh, success at number five and number six requires a lot of difficulty because you have to take on pace bowling. You either have to have the range to hit pace bowling or you need to have the power to hit pace bowling. With Sarfaraz, I think he has the timing and he has the range behind the wicket, but it is still going to be tougher for a uncapped Indian batter to do that as opposed to a capped Australian or a capped West Indies player, which comes in
Yeah.
the form of Ragman Power. So if Warner and if Warner and if Warner and Mitchell Marsh are not available, then all three of Sarfaraz, Mandeep, and KS Bharat. You could also open with KS Bharat, and you
Yeah.
could hold back Mandeep at number three, and or you could look to finish with Mandeep at number five because he's done that for RCB and Punjab in the past. But ideally, I think you should open with Mandeep, and you should have Shaw at the other end, then KS Bharat at three, Pant at four, uh, and Sarfraz at five. The only problem is there are too many right-handers.
Yeah.
Except for Pant, everyone is a right-hander in the top six. So it is easier for teams to bowl a left-arm spinner or a leggy and then constrict the flow of runs. That's an issue.
Yeah, I agree because uh, there is a concern for them, especially with the availability of the players, the overseas players not being available, and perhaps the other players whom they have bought as backups being a bit unexperienced too. So I agree on that part that they messed up their overseas backup specifically, and they didn't get a good backup for Andrik Nokia, who is injury prone, and first of all, we knew. At the time of the auction, you should have known that he's injured right now, and even at the time of the tournament he might not be fit enough, or like he was injured at that time, and we knew that he wouldn't be available for quite a while at that moment. So they should have got at least quite a good backup for Andrik Nokia, somebody like a Blessing Muzarabani, as you said, and even for example David Wiese maybe, because he's someone who can bowl that death bowling part. So that would have also given them that batting depth. So
See, I'm not so sure about David Wiese bowling at the death. Uh, his batting I still can understand, but his bowling is something that I'm not really sure. And I don't think that you can get a ready-made backup for someone like Nokia, but you could look to address it but you could look to address it by filling in one role. Now I thought that Delhi could have also bought someone like David Willey, who went unsold, because he would have
No,
given you
RCB
overs
bought
in the
David
power play
Willie.
and he would also have
RCB
provided you with the.
RCB bought David Willie in the
No,
end.
they have Berendorf, right? Or
No,
they
they
are,
bought both David Willie and Behrendorff.
okay, they bought David Willey.
No,
Okay,
they bought both of them.
okay, I must have missed that. So yeah, I think that Delhi could have done the same, because he would have given them that firepower lower down the order as well, which they are looking for. Uh, but it's something that they didn't look to address it. In fact, I thought, like I said, once they bought both Khalil and Sakaria for the amount that they did, uh, they pretty much messed up their plans from there on.
Yeah, I agree totally. So on that, Delhi, I like personally, I at the auction felt that they started quite well. They had quite a good batting lineup after the auction. Specifically, the fact that they bought Warner, March, having Pant and Shaw. That quite a dynamic top four, which is among the all the teams one of the best. So looking at that, I feel Delhi have quite a good top four, which can solidify the base for them for the rest of the innings. Also, Dorman Pal at the end. But then again, they messed up their bowling. Last year, they had quite a good batting lineup as well as the bowling lineup. So if you compare their bowling lineup to last year, they had Avesh Khan, they had Kadisho Rabada, then also with Akshar Patel, they had Ashwin as the other spinner and Amit Mishra as the backup. So overall, they had quite a good few options. And overall, Delhi this year, I agree, have messed their bowling up completely. And the fact that they didn't buy a good
You,
backup for Nokia, buying both of
you
Sakaria.
missed
But
you missed two other names. They also had Umesh Yadav and Nishan Sharma, who could
yeah,
have been that third pacer and bowled in the power play, and
yeah,
let the death bowling be done by Rabada and Nokia. So there was no dearth of experience and there was no dearth of variety. The only the only kind of bowler that they didn't have was a left arm pacer, and this time they have three. They also have Mustafizur, who I don't see playing straight away as long as Nokia is available.
yeah.
But again,
Plus,
if he
he's
plays,
unavailable for the first few
yeah,
initially.
but again, if he plays, then Delhi may not play Sakaria and Khalil, and they might play Kamlesh Nagarkoti, because you don't want an overloading of left arm pace options as well. So Delhi will have to see what they do and how they turn it around.
Yep, I agree. So thanks a lot for joining me today, Gurkirat Bhaiya, for this Delhi preview. If you liked it, do like the video and share the video. If you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe, as there are many more previews for other teams too coming. We have already done CSK and even Punjab would be out by the time this one releases. So, yep, hope you guys like this video. Do like, share, and subscribe. Till then, we'll meet you all in the next one. Goodbye. Peace.